Alright, this is a big one. Marble, Tulip, Juicy Tree. The musical climax of God, Ween, Satan, as I've heard it described, and I completely agree with. This is a pretty trippy song. And pretty wild song when they play it live. Although this is one of those songs where, they'll jam on a lot of songs live. They'll sort of expand upon them. They don't really expand upon them per se most of the time when they play it live. It's usually like around the same length. But that's just because, it's a meatier song. It's like 5 minutes, the God, Ween, Satan recording. And usually it just goes like 5.5 to 6 minutes. Really not that much longer when they do it live. But it's not meatier. But thanks to Griffin Burke for suggesting this one. I know I don't usually name the people in the videos. I usually just do that in the description. But that guy's suggested so many songs that I actually remember his name. So that's your bonus for suggesting enough songs, is that I actually I remember your name and enough to mention you in the video. Any suggestions are appreciated. I'm just being ridiculous, of course. Anyway, so standard tuning might be a little warbly on the original recording because of tape speed, so maybe it's like 430 something hertz to tune to, but as far as I'm aware, you can play along with it. Alright, the chords. So it's basically just like 5-ish, really just 4 chords. We got D, C major, A, and then a little bundle of open strings there. And then for the chorus, G, and that's that AC/DC G played in the Ween way, but and then we have a D major with a little suspension that I'll get to, and then that's pretty much all the chords. Now let's go this. Let's just do all the rhythm parts. So, all right. So that's. Alright, so you're going to be kind of strumming, mixing that with some arpeggiating, right? Some picking, so... Right, so... That's pretty straightforward. Strumming, and then... Alright. And then... Basically the same thing. And you don't have to do this every single time, because they cycle through these chords a lot during the song, so you don't have to do... You don't have to do that every time. You can go... You can do all sorts of weird stuff, but the basic rhythm you want to get down is... And then with the A major, you're muting the high E. You're kind of plucking the B. Right? And then... Alright. 2 to 3, and pulling off. And then... You're just make sure you get that G second fret, and then the open kind of bundle of strings, but the G is the one that sticks out the most. So then sometimes I think, especially live, he does this A7, this high note up here on the third of the E. I like to do that a lot, just to mix it up, right? Because it's the same couple chords just over and over again. But yeah, and then you can pull off a couple more times, like right, that kind of thing on the D. But that's the verse essentially, and then the chorus is just basically just straight strumming on the G. I mean, you can kind of feel the rhythm out on the G, the bum 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 bum. That's the kind of drums rhythm. And then that you throw in that suspension there in the D in the chorus. Right? And then he kind of throws in that open G there at the end leading into the G. And then with the A. He kind of does that at the end of the first chorus. He kind of strums it some, then lets it hang, then goes back into the second verse. And the second time he kind of vamps it up more as he goes into the solo, right? So as Jeaner's doing that super high note, the can't even do it right now, but. And then after the solo, we have the ending. Well, we have another verse, but the ending comes after that, where you can really it's just and then G. So just D and G. Strum D a couple times, and then that whole thing again. So D, G, D, G, D, D, D. Right? They don't really do this from what I can tell, but what I like to do every once in a while is go, throwing a quick little like that on the G, like that, or even just a little like that. And then we ride out, and then there's a little acoustic guitar, which is just plucking through the verse. And then he does a little, and then end on the A. Just that quick little, and that's how it ends. And then there's a little lead part over that, and then I guess we'll go into the solo, but it's with a little wah effect. I'm not gonna use the wah, because in case you haven't seen my other videos, it's a little awkward to show you how I'm playing, and I want you to see pretty clearly, alright? So, alright, so that's, you can see 15 to 17, full step, then bring it back down, back to 15, and then whole step bend on the 17 of the G. And then there's a little pre-whole bend on the 17 of the B. And bring it back down. And then just those two little notes real quick on the 13 and 14 of the B and G. Alright, so great little ending. I always love that little detail. They didn't need to put that in there, but it's just good. I don't know what to say about it. All right, solo time. So this is a very interesting solo. There's so many weird effects going on around it that you'd think that maybe you pull on and he has a wah effect. He has a wah effect on, and he usually does live, but you'd think that maybe he'd go for some kind of crazy echo effect. And on the original recording, he really doesn't, which I appreciate, because there's all sorts of like weird backwards tape stuff at the beginning of the song, right? Oh, by the way, the very beginning of the song, where you hear that like droning note. They don't do that live, but that's basically just a D chord, and I think it might be like backward tape or whatever. But you can, if you want to, you can just like strum and then turn up your volume. I don't know, sounds kind of cool. Alright, but, alright, so we're gonna be in this D pentatonic shape, right? Throwing some Mixolydian notes. Alright, so we're gonna start off by hitting the 10th of the E twice. Alright, so then 13. Then going to 10, this is on B, then 12, then 12, 11 on the G, then 12 D. Alright, so I'm just gonna go. Alright, so you could bend up there, or you could just slide. he hits that a couple times. And he throws in an open D there. Alright, so... And then he does a similar thing, but he starts on the 12 of the E. Alright, so... And then he's going to go... Alright, so... And if you can kind of try and pinch these notes, because that's kind of what he's doing. And then he does this. Alright, so... Ending that with that little trail, that little trill. And then he does it again. And then he does this. Alright, cool. There's a lot of cool phrasing in this, and that's definitely one of them. But that's... Alright. 12, 10 on the E. Then 13 to 10. Alright. Alright, so slide up. He's going to come down here on the from that 12 to the E. And he's going to slide back up there. And then he's going to go down up here on the 12 to the A. 12 to 10 to 9. Similar to what you just did here. But it's on the A. Alright, so... And he's going to slide up there on the 14. Alright, so... He's going to kind of hammer on the pull off there on the 12 and 14 of the D a few times. Alright. Then he's going to go... Alright. Full step bend on that 14 of the D. And go here on the 11th of the G. And then he's going to throw in an open D there, so it's going to be... just like that. Just like that. And then going here on the G, on the, what's that, 9th? And you full step bend. Alright, and then you're going to do on the 10th of the B. He's going to play around in here for a little bit. And he kind of does some weird notes in there. I like to throw that in the... And then he goes up here, makes his way up here. Alright, so full step on the 12 of the G. And then on the 13 of the B. And then he does this weird, like, pre-bend on, I think it's the 7th of the G. And then he does this really weird walk-up. He does this kind of, like, slow bend upward on, like, the 11th or even 12th of the D. Alright, so... He just keeps bending up on that 12 for a little bit. The 11th of the D, sorry. And then he does, he kind of does this. He's gonna full step bend on the 15 of the B. Every guitar player's favorite note, because, you know. I think Hendrix kind of started that being the coolest note on the guitar, right? Anyway, but that's the note. And then immediately after that, you're going to kind of let that go, let that back down real quick, and then you're going to do this tapping thing. Now, this is, honestly, this might be the easiest part of the solo because replicating exactly what he does is basically impossible because there's like a whole bunch of different guitar that comes in, or maybe it's just a bunch of delay that comes in playing over itself. But the only real part that's specific that I think you really need to get right to get the idea across is the first tapping part, which is basically just these three notes. Again, right after this. Right, so this is just the 15, 17, and 19 of the B. And just, you know. And then he kind of throws in, I think he might throw in the 20th fret a little bit on there. And then he just kind of goes crazy. A whole bunch of different guitars or delay comes in. They're all they're sliding up and down. They're hitting whatever frets they can. Although I think if you want to keep one thing consistent, it's that it's the hammering on and then pulling off to this finger, then pulling off to your first finger. If you want to keep that idea consistent, in the order that you're hitting it, right? But at a certain point, it does basically become nonsense. All right, so after that, you can basically just do anything. And then you can go up on the high E string. Although what I do recommend is that you go down at some point. Get down to the lower frets at some point, so that you can slowly make your way up as the solo is about to end, so that it has this sort of climactic feeling to it. So you can, and what I like to do is, I like to end it like this. I like to sort of end it like that. So full step bend. This is just my idea. I don't think he does this on the recording, but just to have it like a more of a finality to the solo rather than just. And now it's over, right? Just like leading into it, making your way up here, on the 17th fret of the B, and the full step bend, and then hitting that 15 on the high E, and letting those both kind of ring out, and then sliding back down, and then the last verse, and then. And that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for the suggestion, and thank you for watching this. I hope you got a kick out of learning the solo. I did. This is one of those great ones where you can really take the ideas of it, the whole song is a lot of fun, but that solo is it's the highlight of the song for sure. And it's weird to hear such a cool solo. It's weird to hear such a cool, pretty clear solo that's not just noise until it becomes noise. But before that, it's really cool and musical. It's weird to hear that on God, Ween, Satan, even because it shows, he could play some really cool licks, but he decided to play some noise a lot of the time. I don't think he ever played that, but anyway, you can take the ideas of it, right? Like how I love how he throws in those Mixolydian notes, right? That major third. And I love how all those little things like that, and then throwing in that. I love that major sixth. I mean, it's great. All sorts of great stuff that he does, that he just sort of throws at you, especially on this album where he does so much noise and so much simple punk rock stuff. Like recently I taught, well, 2 chord songs, and you can just throw in all these crazy ideas into one solo, and it's great. Anyway, I'm rambling on way too long. Point is, I love this song. I love you guys for watching this. Take care, and as always, have just an awesome, awesome night or day.